Welcome. You are listening to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show. I am your host, Sister Speak, the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana, but you better call me Sister Speak. Hello, how are you all? I hope all is well with you. I want to welcome my first-time listeners and welcome back to my faithful Sister Speak listening family. I appreciate you all for choosing to listen to this episode and any other episode that you have downloaded so far. We thank you for allowing us to be the flavor in your ear. We thank you for adding us to your listening shuffle. And thank you for choosing to podcast and chill with the Sister Speak Show. Oh, tonight's episode on Coming to the Stage is deep. It's deep. Coming to the Stage, where we cover all things theater, film, and TV. And, tonight's episode is so serious. Pornography, behind the scenes. The plot, the price of pleasure, contracting STDs, and leaving the industry. Our people, all shades of brown people, contracting STDs and leaving the industry. Tonight's Sister Speak playlist includes Jupa Beats, Alvin Brown Beats, Danny B tracks, Martell beats, Masked Bandit beats, 30 Hertz beats, and Homage beats, all royalty free, copyright free. So enjoy the mix. I was thinking about you all when I said, let me get a good mix, good playlist going for you all. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's do it. Wait, let's do the proper thing. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. If you don't know, you're about to know soon about the Sister Speak Show. Those of you who have been listening to my show, you already know what the flavor is. You already know how I go up. And today we're going to have to put on our scuba gear, our self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, and we're going to have to go deep. Pardon all puns this evening. I'm saying that as a disclaimer for the rest of the show. Pardon all puns. All right, let's get into it. Pornography is nothing that we as adults and even those who are younger, we all know what pornography is, right? And we know pornography is wrong. We're just going to get everything out the way. We know pornography is wrong. And we know that, I know I've watched it before and you've watched it before. We get all that out the way. You know, just the useless points, right? Some of these points are useless. But the whole aspect of tonight's show, I wanted to take Coming to a Stage to another level for the simple fact that, you know, I've done a lot of focus on prior subjects that deal with poetry, spoken word, and most of the topics have been soft. I just recently, got into taking things deeper on Coming to the Stage because it adds more intrigue and interest to that specific segment. This specific segment. I got these rubber bands on, so my speech is a little altered, but moving forward. However, I said, you know, with our people being in different aspects of film, theater, and TV, let me cover it all. Let me go to the places that might seem a little tight or might have a, sign that says do not enter. But that's only because a lot of people don't want to hear what they need to hear. It's almost like reading the Bible. When I first started out, there were some parts that I was like, I don't want to read this because if I read it, then I'm going to be held accountable. So I figured if I didn't read it, I could keep on sinning and doing what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't be held accountable because I chose not to read it. And if I don't know it, then how can I be held accountable? And the Lord doesn't work like that. The Lord was like, all your math is off, sister. No, you're mine, and you're going to read this and you're going to get it into your soul, because I want you to be corrected and I want you to vibrate higher. I want you to be who I've called you to be. And the truth hurts, especially when you see yourself in the word. You see yourself and you're like, ooh, that's me. Ooh, that's me too. Okay, this whole scripture is about me, right? And you're like, you're either going to do two things. You're going to slam the book together, closed, or you're going to end up crying and repenting and asking for him to touch you and to help you. And there also has to be a work that you have to do as well. So when you speak about pornography, it makes people kind of get on edge because people watch it or people are in it or just whatever. And, but the body knows what pleasure is. But also the body doesn't know what righteous pleasure is either, depending on where you are in your life. And it's the wicked pleasure that we see that is obviously detrimental to the soul. And it brings pain to the body. Cheers. That good water. And it brings pain to the body. And so getting into this entire industry is heavy. And people have their various reasons as to why they enter into the industry. But our people specifically are affected by the lack of knowledge when it comes to sex, period. When it comes to the lack of knowledge of intimacy and genuine pleasure. The pornography industry would like to teach us how to perform sexually, would like to teach us or expose us to different levels of perversion and fantasies. And these categories are filled with many people acting. But this specific form of acting is tricky, literally, because the aspect of voyeurism comes into play because you are watching other people have sex. That's voyeurism. It's what we're watching, what they have to go through, what did they just come out of, and then there's the whole behind the scenes aspect, and that's what we're covering tonight. What goes into making it? What are the effects? And why have some people in the village chosen to walk away from it? Now, the price of the pleasure is you don't walk away without having to pay something. You're going to have to pay for it in some way, shape, or form. And so we're diving into the aspect of contracting the STDs, right? And leaving the industry. The wake-up call, the epiphany, the deliverance, the warning, the tower, the near-death experience, the dawning of a new day, right? It is the saying, I want out of it. And I don't want any more parts of it because this has literally taken over my soul. And I'm projecting to people who watch this energy. And it's a cycle of sexual violence, sexual ignorance, and it teaches your mind that this is the only way our bodies are supposed to perform. These are the noises we're supposed to make. This is what it is. And it's totally not. And it isn't until you want to learn what intimacy is, that you decide, okay, this isn't it, and I need to walk away from it because I'm over here touching myself for pleasure off of watching other people get pleasure, and this isn't how it's supposed to be. And then also, if I'm pleasuring myself, I'm thinking of thoughts that I shouldn't be thinking of in order to reach a climax. And so there's this entire cycle of what we have to do in order to even have this pseudo orgasm. Pseudo meaning fake, because it's not a real orgasm. It is manufactured by certain entities that create you to reach that climax. But it's not a genuine climax. It's not a genuine orgasm. And most of you, if we can all be honest, some of us are still watching, some of us aren't. Some of us have been delivered from watching pornography, some of us haven't, okay? And in it, regardless, you know the feeling if you have been chosen to vibrate high, if you're a child of the Most High God, but this happens to be a stronghold, you're aware of the effects that come immediately after you pleasure yourself. And we can't even call it pleasure after you feel on yourself, right? So what we're looking at is these are somebody's sons and daughters who have been led or walked down a path of destruction in an industry that means them no good and means us no good, and defiles the bed, defiles the head, defiles everything. And it leads so many people into a level of pitch darkness that some don't escape from. So we are grateful that those who managed to escape did, that there was even a speck of light in that cave of pitch darkness, that they were able to say, I've got to get out of this. Body after body being degraded, defiled, people spilling their semen on you, you know, just the entire gamut of the industry and how it wreaks havoc on the soul. So the price of pleasure, we have to really be considerate of how are we enjoying this pleasure when there is literally pain that produces this pleasure first. That this pleasure that we're seeing is really the enemy, the devil, using one of his major forms of mass destruction to take us out both spiritually and physically, to drain us, to addict us, to have us curious about things that we are not naturally supposed to be curious about. It leads us into the whole conversation of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because included in the porn industry, everybody, is child pornography. And that is where many people in the village say, well, that's where I draw the line. No, you shouldn't even have any writing utensil in your hand when it comes to this industry. This should not be anything that we walk into. We do, but we have to walk out of. But we're talking about an industry that also allows child pornography to make its way through there. And that is not just where we draw the line. That's where we say down with the entire industry as a whole. California produces a lot of porn. And what is not talked about all the time, but is spoken about, now I'm not saying it's not covered, is the death of porn stars. The assault, the rape, the contracting of STDs, all of these bad aspects, but all people care about is just watching other people have sex. The word fuck, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. The acronym of fuck, because the word fuck is an acronym. And in the prior days, before you could have sex, you had to get consent from the king. And it stood for fornication under the consent of the king. Okay? Learn, read, okay? And this was taught to me by somebody. I won't ever take credit where I didn't. This was taught to me. But that's all people are worried about is F-U-C-K-ing. Fucking. Like, I got to have me some dick. I got to have me some, and it's just like some pussy, and I'm using the terms vagina, penis, but we're all adults, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. I'm going somewhere with this. Our people are being destroyed by two demons, incubus and succubus. Our people have been sexually abused. Our people have been molested, with visuals. Our brains have been molested. We have literally been kidnapped by a demon that desire to destroy us sexually, because we're able to produce. Because when you come together, it is a beautiful thing. And the demons know that there is power when you come together sexually. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So when there's power in that, you have to understand, why is there such an industry as pornography that projects such seething, low vibrating behaviors that are supposed to be, not all the behaviors that we see. Understand, how can I say this? That promote an energy that is not good for us. Yes, we're supposed to come together. Yes, it's supposed to be wonderful and pleasurable and all of these wonderful things, how it was designed, but it's not supposed to be abused. It's not supposed to be exploited. Not at the hands of teenagers being trafficked. Not at the hands of young children being filmed and predators having sex with them. Not if there's going to be people having sex with animals. Not if there's going to be sodomy. I'm going to call it out today. Not if it's going to be same sex. Not if it's going to be BDSM. Not if it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm off counting. But you understand what I'm saying to just gang banging. Let me get on the terms. Gang banging. Not if it's going to be when I get ready to ejaculate, I'm going to ejaculate in your eyes. You didn't see me coming? You understand what I'm saying to you? Just disrespect, because for me, and this is on a personal level, you can look at my whole energy. You can look at my facial expressions. You can look at everything about me and know that that is something that you would never try on me. That is a no-go. You can miss me, but that is so disrespectful. Now, some of you women are like, hey, that's what I like. And I want to bid you to acquire a new taste in dignity. And I want to also ask you brothers who do that to acquire a new taste in dignity, because spilling your semen, you're not supposed to do that. So we have to get out of who created these nasty ideas of behaviors. Who is the author of these? Who is the CEO of these nasty behaviors? Oh, Sister Speak, you can't tell somebody to have pleasure. I sure can. And I'm doing it. Because if your pleasure doesn't line up to it being righteous, and if your pleasure is going to lead you to destruction, and I don't want you as my brother or my sister to be destroyed, because I know that the devil is after you if this is something that you're in, or something that you get your rocks off to, and it's going to lead you to Gehenna, the lake of fire, or Sheol, or Hades. Yes, I'm going to say to you, you need to change. And what's wrong with that? I'm not telling you to go smoke crack. I'm not telling you to step in front of a moving train. I'm not telling you to go jump off a bridge. I'm not telling you to go out there and defile yourself. I'm telling you to have dignity and not to defile yourself, so you can be who you're supposed to be as the royal priesthood. What do you have a problem with in this conversation? You need to go back to the kiddie pool. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. Season of you being prey has come to an end. Family, friend, foe versus your freedom. What are you going to choose? The latest episode of the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. Episode 2, Stop Being Weak. We're covering haters in your life. Why are they howling at you? Car chases. Let me out the car. This doesn't taste good. Where's the original recipe? Protecting adulterers. Why are your people scanless? Rent, utility, and food relief. Learning how to ask for help and people who don't help. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. Warriors, mount up and be encouraged. You're in love. You never thought that your wife would put antifreeze in your drink. You never suspected that your new bride would hire a hitman to kill you. Now you're out for a morning jog and someone is following you. The latest episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, Death Will Part Us, Murder for Money, The Black Widow Bride. On the Suspense Files, we're covering the who, what, when, where, why, in urban crime, including crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, urban cold cases, and more. Before you go and propose, before you order your bride in the mail, listen to this episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. The Sister Speak Show, syndicated on Amazon Alexa and Sonos, is 4 years old today. Hosted by me, Sister Speak. The show's intro is sung by musician Allie and produced by Ben Wade. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve, is a podcast network consisting of 8 segments. Those segments include The Platform, The Upgrade, Coming to the Stage, The Suspense Files, The Culture Climate, The Laugh Line, The Tour, and The Vent Session. We've recently added 15 new episodes because we want to be the flavor in your ear, and we want you to add us to your listening shuffle. We're moving in a new direction, where we will be hosting celebrity interviews only. Now it's time to podcast and chill with the Sister Speak Show. You won't be disappointed, and I thank you for your listening support. Click the link in the bio. Welcome back. You are listening to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show. I'm your host, Sister Speak. Coming to the Stage, where we're covering all aspects of TV, film, theater. Tonight's episode, Pornography Behind the Scenes, The Price of Pleasure, Contracting STDs and Leaving the Industry. Our people contracting STDs and leaving the industry. This is a episode for the village because our village needs a lot of healing, and we are damaged when it comes to our understanding of sex. We're damaged because we were introduced to sex in a violent, abrupt way. It was forced upon some of us, whether it be being touched inappropriately or actually having the entire assault, because that's what it is when it's against your will, committed on you. Some of us were introduced to sex because of our family members, school, just whatever environment, and it was unhealthy how it was introduced to us. And when you do not get the help that you need, and a lot of times in our village, because a child is supposed to be seen and not heard, we grow up being seen and not heard. Our voices don't matter. Our own people silence our voices, and we are the victims of having our voices silenced by the colonizer. And then we go and we take that same type of abusive, narcissistic tactic and we use it on our own people. We come from, I don't know why this is, but we have to break this curse where we protect, where the predator is protected, where the rapist is protected, where the priest or the pedophile pastor is protected, and the victim is shunned. And a shunned victim can end up in the porn industry, can end up being trafficked, can end up in prostitution, can end up pimping, can end up as a male escort, female escort, can end up being gay for pay, can end up doing all kind of low vibrating behaviors due to the fact that they have been preyed upon sexually. And without the therapy and without the village being a genuine, righteous support system, it's each man for himself, it seems like. Certain subjects you can't talk about. Things are taboo. And I don't understand how you could label speaking about these specific matters of the heart, child abuse, molestation, and just being sexually assaulted as a child as taboo. And so we know that spirit that tries to silence the outcry, the exposure, is a demonic spirit. And that is the same spirit that runs the pornography industry. It's no different. The devil runs the pornography industry. We're not going to sit here and hide the name plaque, the plaque with the name of the CEO of this. The entity, the principality, is the succubus, incubus demon, and it has possessed so many porn producers, okay? And it possesses those of us who have not done the clearing work. Anybody can be attacked by succubus and incubus and mare, which is nightmare. Anybody can. Anybody. When you are not fortified. And so as a child, not knowing about fortification and having the tools that we are, gaining as we get older, yes, you're going to be in a battle. And it is a battle where you are going towards the energy because that energy is dominant. So if I was abused by someone from the same sex, more than likely, I'm going to be attracted to the same sex because it has dominated my spirit. That incident was so traumatic and so forceful and so mind-blowing that I'm in it. It has a grip on me. Because that energy has to feed itself. If it doesn't feed, it dies. Come on, somebody. If you don't eat, you'll die. If you don't drink water, you'll die. And these entities, they need a host. They need energy in order to keep doing what it does. That's how you get generational curses. How is it that something that your grandmother or great-grandmother had passed down to you when they're not even here anymore, or however that goes, or how is it that somebody from the 1800s in your family tree, how did you get this curse? I mean, it's an energy. And when you don't do the work, yes, generation after generation can be plagued by sexual addictions and sexual abuse, and be plagued with this whole spirit of laryngitis where we don't say anything, but we're saying everything with our energy and the behaviors that we choose. You can't help but cry out. You're going to cry out one way or the other, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. Your decisions are an outcry. Come on, somebody. So either way, you're going to cry out. But our village has dropped the ball when it comes to providing a safe place to heal, a righteous place to heal. We say some of the dumbest things when it comes to dealing with matters of the heart. So on tonight's episode with Pornography Behind the Scenes, the price of pleasure, contracting STDs and leaving the industry, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about contracting STDs because people catch them. You know whether or not you have caught one. You know that whether or not you've heard of someone catching one. Either way, somebody had the glove and the ball landed in the glove. They caught it. And so we need to talk about how do we prevent it? What can we do to avoid it? Because in this specific industry of contracting STDs, the main thing about the industry that they say is that people don't want to see people wearing condoms in porn. That takes away from the pleasure of watching. I cannot. That's a demon. That's a demon's philosophy. That's demonic. And as a result of that, people are catching, actors and actresses, I don't even know, I guess you can use that term, are catching these diseases. And they're coming back into the community. The community as a whole needs to talk about contracting STDs and what can be done to stop it. We don't need to go to we don't need any big gathering to figure it out. Stop having sex. Ask for self-control. Do the energy clearance so that thing that dominates you and pimps you and leads you into various devious acts of sexual behaviors, you can win that war. Because there are some behind the scenes stories that we're about to listen to that are real. And let's just say this. Some of you may even be able to relate to these stories in your own regular sexual activities. The feeling. Not everybody feels good after they lay down with somebody. There's a whole nother emotion and energy that comes with that. We're going to get into it because the clips, this specific clip is, it has some good information. Some good information. Good because it raises awareness. So these clips this evening are specifically to raise awareness, to provide education, to eradicate the sexual assaults that occur in the village, to encourage our people to pink slip themselves from the village, to incite the need to vibrate high and to gain self-control and to overcome sexual addictions. Because we are missing out on divine pleasure, divine intimacy. I have some things to say, but I'm going to save it for after the clip. Let's get it. Let's go. Tonight's episode on Coming to the Stage. Pornography behind the scenes. The price of pleasure. Contracting STDs and leaving the industry. Thank you for being a wonderful, intelligent, a wonderful, wise listening audience. I appreciate you because if you listen to this show, you were led to this show. And I thank you for listening. Okay? I thank you for listening.
Nigeria, locally made. It sounds very strange. Like I never even thought it happened. I'm telling you, you were the first person that I'm seeing as a Nigerian that says there is a porn industry here. How did you get involved into it? Was it directly thrown into your face that come and start? Or did you scout people?
Yes. Before I ventured into porn, I had this friend that was like, "Oh, Savage, come, let's have a reality show," because me, I like being in the limelight. I lived in this Kim Kardashian kind of dream. So she was like, "It's a reality show." I'm like, "Oh, fine, I'm in." I'm getting her like, "I know this person. This is not the reality show." Like, "Oh, no, don't worry, forget about that part. That's not what you're here for. You're here for the reality show." I knew I was supposed to have walked out, but I gave into peer pressures. Like because those ladies around.
So you went there, the only ladies around you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were convincing, like, just give it a try. And that was how it all started. I was 22.
So you're an adult, so it was actually the decision you made?
Yes, on my own.
Right. What are the hazards? Because it's important that a lot of young girls who are feeling helpless, feeling like there's nobody thinking there's a way out in this trade, they must understand that obviously there's no way.
Any young lady or any young teenage actor or actresses that want to venture into this should be aware that assault will definitely come in one way or another, either by the producer or by your teammates. Because definitely envy will come in and they'll look at, oh, then I recall then they'll be like, "Oh, you're the favorite, you're now this one, the shining star, you're the queen." And I'm like, stop it. We're all here to make money and just move on. 2, whether one accepts it or not, it's definitely going to bounce back in a negative way.
I think there was a beauty pageant you won.
Yeah,
you were first runner-up.
Yeah, and
you were stripped of the title.
Yeah.
So your title because you're a public sponsor.
Yes.
So Delphina, let's talk about how
you're received by family members? Because you see, your choices in life do not just affect you, it affects everybody around you, linked to you. And, how did your family members receive your decision to do this kind of trade? And how is your relationship now?
My extended family were not nice at all. Like, they didn't take it lightly. A lot of them cut me off. I'm savage. I don't really care. But my immediate family, the likes of my mom, God bless that woman. My mom gave me time to understand myself. And my dad were not really on good terms. But after this whole scandal, even when, because I actually told my parent myself that this is what I'm doing. After I had the interview on BBC, and I recall that my dad said it here. He actually cried. And I felt it. I felt so guilty. Like, this man, this is someone that is always very hardcore, and him crying, that means it must have really hurt him. And I'm using this medium to apologize to my mom and my dad and my two big sisters and my best friend. Every young lady out there, not just ladies, guys also, they text me, they send me mails, they want to go into porn. Porn in Nigeria won't pay you. Don't try it. See, they'll just be deceiving you. Any porn star or porn company that is telling you, they'll give you a record deal, you would be successful, just check out that person's lifestyle. Let's begin with that. They are not living fine. They are faking it. It's all for the crown. There is no money there.
Kidnapped, sodomized, abused, physically. Like 6'8", 300 pounds. When he hit me, I flew through the bathroom into the wall. He took my heels and hit me in my face with it. Then I also was gang raped by 3 different men held at gunpoint. There was always a gun in the situation. And then he walked up to me and he put the gun to my hand and he said, "This time I'm not going to miss." When he pulled the trigger, the gun jammed. He said one of your first performances on a show that he went home and soaked in the bathtub for hours. Take us back there. What happened? When we started the scene, it started off okay for the first couple of minutes, and then I guess that's the breaking in part. And then after that is everyone has seen porn, I believe, before, and it's a very rough. It's at a very rough pace. So I had not been too used to that, so it was very painful. It was a very painful experience. I even going to the bathroom, going to a set, crying on my way because I really didn't want to do it. But the fact that I knew that I was about to get some money, I did it anyway. What painful experience that led you to soak in a hot tub for hours, and then you go like the next day? So, were you physically happy about going back the next day? I remember Pinky on the website saying, "Hello, my name is Pinky. I have a website where we're gonna invite people to come and come into the porn industry, and you make a lot of money. You can also get raped, potentially get killed, get sodomized, have these stocks, get STDs, maybe die of AIDS, ruin your life, ruin your family, and go to hell as a result." We don't do that side of it. She's not presenting that full picture. And maybe she doesn't know. Maybe Pinky out there and you don't see that side. Do you think Pinky knows about these stories? Of course. For those who are out there that may be watching this video right now that are considering going into the porn industry, because their world is different. They see it as glamorous, celebrity status, making money. What can you tell them to give them a bigger picture of the true life of what goes on in the porn industry? Did you ever see anything go on there that could really give a really vivid picture of this porn industry is not what it's cut out to be? Right. For one, the way that you get tested, you have to get tested every 28 days because obviously you don't use condoms. So if I don't get tested Monday and I'm negative, but I go sleep with somebody, just a random person on Tuesday and I catch gonorrhea, that Tuesday. When I go shoot Wednesday, even though my test for Monday says I'm negative, but Tuesday I just caught gonorrhea. So I'm going to do a scene with him, for 28 days. All these people for the next 28 days, infecting all these people anally, orally. I've seen girls with it in their eye because a lot of in certain scenes, they do weird things, and it disperses in their eyes, and they get gonorrhea in their eyes. They get in their throat. They get it, like I said, vaginally, anally, stuff like that. Another situation where a young lady was doing an anal scene, and I guess she did a lot of anal scenes, and he caught up with her. She was in the middle of doing the scene, and a piece of her muscle from her anal fell out in the middle of the scene, like she felt something was wrong, and something fell out, and they picked it up, and it was a muscle from her anal. So, they don't tell you this. Then there was another girl, situation where, like I said, these guys are obviously very well endowed, and this one girl couldn't take the sides, and her vaginal area became very loose, and they hung. Like, when you say they hung, you mean? The inside, like, the thing that, what the vagina looks like. So, it's supposed to be well put together. It's nice, like something just like, a turkey neck, the gobble gobble. Yeah, they'll tell you that. They'll tell you that.
Was she crying or screaming? Was she in pain at the time?
She was used to it. Like, it's just been gobble for a while. And I was supposed to work with her on a girl scene, and I refused. I didn't get that money that day. I said, oh no, I'm not working with her. And she's a very beautiful lady. She's Asian, black, and very pretty. Until she showed that area. The gobble gobble. I wasn't feeling the gobble gobble. So they don't tell you that. That your stuff turned to pastrami.
So literally her insides were ripped out.
Pretty much. Yeah. So much pounding and beating and a lot of stuff, yeah. Damaged. They don't tell you that. Pinky, did you tell them that?
Now, have you heard of hospital like STDs, things like that? And
all the time. Herpes is floating around the industry. They will let you work with it. Pretty soon they're going to let you work with AIDS as long as you got your medicine. Right before I got into the industry, probably like a year prior, they had shut the industry down because this guy went to Brazil. And I heard about that. He got AIDS, and he came back here, and he was doing movies here, and he infected everybody.
I heard that.
So they shut it down, and they opened it a year prior to return.
I heard that this guy went to Brazil, got AIDS, and was actively working in the industry.
And he didn't know.
Wow.
He didn't know. And he didn't show up on the test for like maybe, I don't know, a couple of months.
Wow.
He didn't show up for a couple of months.
That is a serious wake-up call for the porn industry, for people in to think about, like, wow, this thing. The people in the industry, did they walk around with a sense of, I could get AIDS, or a sense of, or they, just kind of blind to that? It's just,
I was scared every day. This is where I had the hypocrisy kicked in because I would pray. Lord, don't let me get AIDS. Lord, don't let me get a disease.
right.
I would pray, like, I would cry sometimes because I'm like, I just did a scene with such and such, and something don't feel right. And I would pray, and I was like, Lord, don't let me get nothing, don't let me get AIDS, don't let me get STD. Thank God I didn't, but I had the nerve to pray.
Let's talk about that. Okay, in the porn industry, you're 18 years old. By this you strict. You've been involved in prostitution, and now you're in the porn industry. Did you believe yourself to be saved, a Christian that was saved and on the way to heaven?
Yes. You couldn't tell me I wasn't.
Get out of here.
You couldn't tell me I wasn't saved. I'm a fake Christian. You know what a fake Christian is. I know. So I would go to church on Sunday, and I had all these tattoos of crosses and Jesus and, all this stuff. And I felt like because I believed in God and because I went to church that I was saved. I wasn't hurting nobody. I wasn't killing nobody. I wasn't doing nothing to nobody. So I believed that I was okay. I'm all right. I'm born again. You can tell me I was born again. You tell me I was born again. I was probably cut you. I just knew that I was okay. It was okay for me to go talking to myself. It was okay for me to sleep with women. It was okay for me to sleep with men. It was okay for me to get drunk and do drugs. But as long as I'm in church on Sunday, I'm okay. Don't tell me that I was doing something wrong. Because I really sincerely believed in my heart that I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I went to church on Sundays. I brought some of the porn stars and the strippers to church with me. Wow. Really? So I was trying to do it. We go to church.
So you feel like you're really doing good things.
My conscience is heavy. I'm way better than this. In a way where, I've been through a lot in this industry, and I've been on the other end of this situation, and it's not a good place to be either way. I read a lot online and I see the comments that people make, and it cuts. I understand where it comes from because they're angry, and I just want to say I'm sorry. It's just unprofessional. It's just inconsiderate. It's just I just wasn't. I wasn't thinking correctly. I should have done things differently, and I'd always been grateful that I was a part of it. So I should have shown it more respect. And I apologize.
Star Mr. Marcus sentenced to jail in LA for exposing female co-stars to syphilis. Here is, and this is being brought to me by the Grio ABC News. Adult film star Marcus arrives at the smooth pre-BET party at Club AD in June 2003 in Los Angeles. So this is 10 years ago, basically, of him going there. Anyways, an adult video star known as Mr. Marcus was sentenced Tuesday to 30 days in jail for knowingly having exposed at least 2 female co-stars to syphilis last year. Mr. Marcus, 42, whose real name is Jesse Spencer and who was inducted into the Adult Video News Hall of Fame 4 years ago, was the main figure in scandal over the spread of a communicable disease that temporarily halted video productions last year. Spencer, who admitted having altered documents recording the results of mandatory medical tests all porn stars must take, pleaded no contest in Los Angeles Superior Court to knowingly exposing another to a communicable disease. He also sentenced 36 months probation and 15 days of community labor. The Los Angeles City Attorney Office said Spencer got a penicillin shot on July 13th after having tested positive for syphilis. After he tested positive again 8 days later, he altered a photocopy of the original test form. It said, Spencer worked on 2 videos later in July. 2 women who appeared in the videos noticed that the form had been altered and turned him into police. They tested negative for the disease. The city's officials said, I'm going to click here to read more. If it takes me there. But what I want to say is, it's sad, yes, that they've ended up getting syphilis. It's sad and everything, but at the same time, it's sad But it's like, if you're having unprotected sex, whether it's in porn or just out and about, what did you really expect? I mean, not to be rude or seem like I don't care. Well, I really don't care. But anyways, it's just the way it is. You have sex
The Sister Speak Show
unprotected,
cares.
as in you're not using condoms. And for women, if you're not using birth control or your tubes aren't already tied, not only will you get STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, or STIs, sexually transmitted infections, but you also can become pregnant.
The revelation of multiple HIV infections in the California pornography industry deepens with details of what actually happened at the shoot where Cameron Bay was infected with HIV, or at least the shoot where they believe she was infected with HIV. And the most graphic and unfortunate detail is that apparently the male partner that she was performing with on that day, his penis was bleeding. He did not use a condom. They stopped shooting for a few minutes, but then resumed. That's a major warning sign. Now, we have other details which we're going to get to, but that's obviously the most important single tragic fact about this.
Yeah, look, they say that they offered her a condom on the set if the guy wanted to use it, and it appears that she confirms that. Well,
yeah,
look,
available but not required. Basically.
Right. But if the guy is bleeding from the penis, that would be a good time to use a condom, right? So she doesn't get off scot-free here in terms of culpability for what ensued. And she said there was 50 people lying there, apparently in this massive porn shoot. She said there was inappropriate touching. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, we actually have a longer quote. Why don't I read it? So she described basically, I had not seen this video, but it sounds like a very interesting video. There were up to 50 people in the room with us, and we were laying on top of them. This is at a bar, apparently, they shot this at. And they were touching inappropriately. It all happened so fast. I didn't realize how unsafe it was until I saw the pictures. You're on a whole other level when you're doing something so extreme. Now, I could be wrong. I believe that she was fairly new to the industry, and it seems like, I mean, she's talking there about how caught off guard she was by what was going on there, and it could be that because she hasn't been around enough years to remember the past times that HIV infections have happened in the porn industry, that maybe she just had a lot of faith in their STD testing. Like, she was told that this guy that she was performing with had passed tests. It turned out that that was not the case.
Well, you know, I think the AIDS Healthcare Foundation had a decent quote on that. They're saying, look, the AIDS testing after the fact isn't going to prevent AIDS. Now, like...
the spread to some extent.
Yes, so they're only half right here, because obviously we're trying to contain the spread, but the half that they're right about is that it's not going to prevent it on the spot, right? And they say it's like trying to prevent pregnancy with a pregnancy test. So, okay, so if you see that there's an issue that you should be significantly concerned about, you can't just say, oh, well, they tested the guy 2 weeks ago, or they're going to test him 2 weeks from now. You should take care of it at the moment. And it's easy to say all this in hindsight. And I feel terrible for her. I mean, she's HIV positive at this point.
Yeah, along with several other performers. 2 to 3 other performers have come down in the past few weeks with positive HIV results.
Right, including her boyfriend, who's also a porn performer, who I want to get back to in a second.
Right. So, I mean, the thing is, the sex industry here, and even if you look at, like brothels in Amsterdam, the sex industry, as a general rule, where it's regulated, does a pretty good job, which is why a lot of the prostitutes in Amsterdam don't have STDs, because it's regulated, and they take care and they test just like they do here. So when you think about how much porn is actually produced versus how often this happens, it's actually pretty low. That doesn't take away from this case being horrible. But there's also this whole thing going on in LA right now about should they have to wear condoms? And in my opinion, as terrible as it is, if you force them to wear condoms in LA and people want condomless porn, well, then they're just going to produce it somewhere else, and then all you've done is hurt the economy here. So it's
Now all I need is a Superfly blazer and a pair of shorts for my photo shoot, sis. Have you made any progress? Everything has to be fly. I'm a professional stylist for a reason, sis. I found these 2 pieces from KK Lachey. They're perfect for your photo shoot. Sitting pics now. Oh, these are lit. Book the look, sis. I ordered the outfit already, sis. Your photo shoot is going to be epic. The summer sale at KK Lachey is going on now. With these looks and more in stock, you're guaranteed to find the look that you need, whether it's for a photo shoot or a day or night out. Shop KKLachey.com and get ready The look, the feel, the vibe. KKLachey.com. Welcome back. You are listening to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show. I'm your host, Sister Speak, recording from Dallas, Texas. Shout out to the DFW and everybody listening to Coming to the Stage, where we're covering theater, film, and TV in the village. Ooh. Well, you listened to the clips. I know you did. I know you heard everything that I heard. Cheers. I know you heard everything that I heard. So let's get into it. You know, we don't do background music when we get ready to swim. So we're getting ready to deep sea dive. You know, listening to these clips, as I mentioned before, they're for educational purposes only. They are to raise awareness. I have experience in life just like you do. When you listen to these clips, it brings it all in. You can't refute what you heard. You can't even, there's nothing that you could come back with to counter what you just heard, because your soul knoweth right well. It's supposed to. Now, as I always mentioned, and I will always mention, this show, the Sister Speak Show, the entire network, is for the chosen, the royal priesthood. This is for light workers. This is for those who are on a journey seeking change, wanting to transform, knowing the urgency and the pulling of your soul to transform, to not vibrate low, but to vibrate high. This is not the show for lily pads. This is not the show for those who want to say, oh, she thinks she all that, and whatever low vibrating ramblings emit from you. If you don't want to change, that's on you. For those of us who want to change, that's on us. And it's not necessarily you that is mad. It's the demon in you. It's the principality in you, or palates, that hate light, that hate progression, that hate forward movement, that hate to see deliverance, that are always trying to put a block when someone wants to elevate and come up out of the pits, when someone wants to turn their life around. And many of us will go through muck, mire, clay. We will go through quicksand. We will go through in order to be a light for others, in order to learn lessons, in order to heal, to break cycles. There are many reasons why we go through. And the point of it is to go through it, not to stay in it. And that's the difference between the lily pad or the hater and the listeners of the Sister Speak Show, who genuinely are in the midst of coming out of their cocoon. Who are sick and tired of themselves. Who have a serious relationship with the Most High God. No matter where they are in their life, they've been chosen. They've been set apart. So it is destiny. It is predestined for them to come out and to then turn around and help someone else. That is the code and rule of conduct in the village. Now, if you cannot conduct yourself in a manner that desires hope, seeks healing, if you are not the type of human in our village, because I'm saying our, because I'm trying now I feel as if you might be coming from the nations and be an imposter and have forsaken your genealogy. If you are a hater and do not want to follow the rules and the codes of conduct in the village, which are to love thy neighbor, which are to shed the old ways, which are to, we're supposed to praise the Most High God. We're supposed to toil our soil and create a harvest for all, right? And we're supposed to teach. We're supposed to train. We're supposed to say, stop, don't, wait a minute, hold on. Let me tell you about this. We're supposed to tell those who cannot see what we now can see, excuse me, that they're blind and that there's danger ahead. Most people who have a blind family member or friend assist them because they cannot see. That's called kindness, because you don't want them to walk into danger or to be caught off guard because they cannot see. And we liken that into our people and the youth, okay? And we want them to see. We don't want them to walk into danger. And for those of us who have been delivered, it is our job to assist them with walking until they can see. Now, if you do not want to assist with that, that means that you are stuck in what happened to you. You don't want to clear the energy, and that more than likely, you probably work for the devil. You probably are maybe his son or daughter. Because if you are mad that I'm saying, look, porn is not the way, exploiting your body is not the way, we're better than that, heal from that, and you just listen to the foulness and the fuckery, pardon the pun, even though I said I wouldn't say that, in the industry. So if something bad is coming out of it, the only good that can rise from that is deliverance from it, and to walk away from it and to teach about the dangers of this industry. Because at the beginning of life, at the beginning, there are rules that have been set in place that we are to follow. These rules weren't given to everybody. They were given to us. And there's nobody on the face of this earth that will ever shut down or silence the sword of truth, which is we're not even supposed to be having sex unless we're married. Y'all know that's the truth. We're supposed to maintain. And if we already have had sex and we come into the understanding that we are to preserve our bodies, then we withhold, we abstain, we become celibate, we repent. We choose to hold back that energy and grow in that power. And those of us who are celibate, those of us who do abstain, you know the power that you possess. You know how powerful you are. You know the enlightenment and the downloads and the wisdom that you have gained because you decided to walk away from satisfying yourself selfishly. Because you owe more, you know that you owe more to the Most High God. Because you realize that all of what you have experienced when you engage in sex, whether you do it behind the camera or in front of the camera, that there is a feeling and a spirit that comes over you. I don't care how many nuts you bust. I don't care how good it feels or whatever. At the beginning of the day, there is a feeling that comes with it. There are consequences that come with it, unprotected or protected. regardless, there are consequences. And they lead to rape. They lead to, sexual degradation. It leads to exploiting. It leads to sex trafficking. It leads to so many dark cycles. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. These suggestions become more perverse. And then because money is on the table and because this is the way that bills are being paid, I'm going to have to leave my moral compass, back at the house, and I'm going to have to do this. And I'm going to have to get paid to shame myself. And then I'm going to show other people through this act how to shame themselves too. And people then view it and then act the same things that they view. And then you have, and the demand for people to perform like a porn star in real life is asinine, and it is fictitious, and it is a fantasy, and it is salacious, and it puts pressure on men and women to be something who they are not. And then to perform sexually and to do these things because I want to satisfy my man, or I want to satisfy my woman, and you let that be the reason why somebody is urinating in your mouth, skeeting on your face, defecating in your mouth, asking you to perform various acts on animals, okay, just to satisfy. Do not let society continue to pimp you into selling out your own soul by degrading yourself and allowing sexual demons to dictate what pleasure is and is not. And then feeling the pressure that I may lose my marriage or my man. So now I'm going to have 4, 5, 6, 7 women in the bed, and I'm going to do all these things because I don't want to lose my man because I'm not secure enough to hold it down with the fruits of the spirit. I'm not secure enough to say if he doesn't want me as I am, and if he does not respect the fact that my moral compass does work northwest, south, and east, then this is not the man for me, or this is not the woman for me. Not willing to walk away because you're afraid of hurting somebody's feelings because you don't want them to urinate on you. Or you don't want to act out a scene where you're going to have to have a gangbang. Or you don't want to have to, satisfy his friends. All this pressure to give up your preciousness, your vagina and your penis. Where is the regard in totality for valuing our genitalia and our energy and our intimacy, even with a kiss? We have all given ourselves recklessly, and some of us have been delivered from that. So we know what it is. We know what that is. We know what that feeling is. And it's not one thing where I'm saying, oh my gosh, you're just the nastiest person on earth. Even though I may feel that on the inside, just based on the action at the beginning of the day, I do know that you can change. And that your desires and your taste for filth can change. That you can go from not touching yourself and busting a nut to or using sex toys to saying, you know what, I'm just going to stop doing this. I'm going to try a different route. I'm going to see what this celibacy thing is about. I'm going to see what this energy is like. I'm going to actually stop letting myself continue to be heartbroken because I'm catching all these bodies because I can't keep my legs closed. And it moves into the fact that some people actually want to film their sexual activities. And I'm talking about local porn stars. What do you mean local porn stars? Hey baby, I love you. Let's film this. Okay. And the next thing you know, you break up, and now, your uncle comes back and say, I was on Pornhub, and I don't know how to say this, but I think this is you. And it is you. And that is a crime. Revenge porn. But the point about it is why in the fuck would you film that? I don't care. There is nothing, anybody on the face of this earth that they could tell me that I would say, oh, I get it. I will never get it because it is a risk. You cannot trust anybody with that. And you don't need to be filming yourself. It's just for us to watch. Weren't you there? You know, it's like a highlight. No, it's not. No, it's not, because if you all break up, it's a wrap. You call him, delete it now. I'm going to take you to Judge Judy. Delete it. I mean, I'm serious about this. This industry right here is draining your ability to perform at your highest level of sensuality and passion. You will never achieve the orgasm that you are seeking until you pull it together. You can pop as many pills as you want. You can get as drunk as you want. You can snort as much cocaine as you want. You can suck as much meth as you want. You will never, ever get there. And you need to know that. Why? Because if you are consistently out here in the world giving yourself to everybody, whether it be through film or just in real time, you're losing all of your ability that is supposed to be saved and expressed for the one. There's a difference between fucking, okay, and genuine divine intimacy. And many of us have not gotten there. In the first clip, the Nigerian porn star spoke about her encounters in the industry. One of the panelists was very surprised that there was porn going on in the industry. I mean, there was porn going on in Nigeria. She's like, I had no idea. It's all over. And she said that her friend suggested that she participate in a reality show. And since she was already addicted to limelight and wanted to be in the spotlight, she decided to give it a yes. And she was also under the influence of the Kim Kardashian demon. I want to pause right here. I need my sisters in the village to get this in your brain. You are you. I want you to unearth all of everything that you put together to accessorize and to glamorize yourself. I want you to put down the wig, the weave. I want you to take all the everything. We're going to strip down. Okay? All of us. This is a visual strip down. And I want you to be in your rare, naked form right now with your natural hair, eyes, everything. And I want you to now look in the mirror and ask yourself, where is Kim Kardashian? Who do you see looking back at you in the mirror right now? You do not see Kim Kardashian, do you? Mm-mm. You're not her. She's not you. And this influence, because we understand Kim and that Ray J porn and all of that, and, sex tapes leaking. Check this out. It won't leak if there's no holes. It won't leak if it's not filmed. And that just goes to show, however it got out, whether it was an inside job or an outside job, whether it was a blow job, it got leaked. And that means there was a hole. And instead of it being something where people were like, whatever, times have changed to where admonishing and turning up your nose and stuff, that really doesn't exist anymore. It's a free-for-all because of the sexual fluidity that goes on in society. And now you're telling me as a sister that you want to be Kim Kardashian. And you're Keisha Jackson. I'm just saying a name. I don't know. But how? You want to be Kim Kardashian. But as a sister, you already have access to black men. They're in your tribe. Shh. They're not in her tribe. So, in her, yeah, where she comes from. So how is it that you want to be Kim Kardashian again? Is it the hair? She gets extensions. Is it the body? It's been worked on. It's the way she talks. Hi, guys. This is Kim. Yeah. What is it? What is it about her that makes you not want to be a sister? So at 22 years old, she got into the industry. I'm speaking about this Nigerian woman who was speaking about her run in the industry. And her family was affected once they found out, and they cut her off, her extended family. But her mother stayed in the game with her and gave her time to figure herself out. She was able to understand this journey. And we do thank the fact that there are people who understand that. There are people who are just going through. And in the end of the interview, she said there was no money there. The question on the table is, how do we stop letting money dictate our soul into walking into an industry that gives zero F's about us and uses us to continue to promote an agenda to destroy the 12 tribes of Israel, to destroy mankind. In the second clip was an ex-porn star who was talking about her run in the porn industry. And that really hit home because of the testimony that she gave. Having a gun pulled on her, being attacked with heels. We thank God for guns jamming, right? We really do. And I want to say this, with that gun jamming on and that being the catalyst to why one of the reasons why she walked away, we know that the Lord is real, and we thank him for his angels right now. We thank him for his divine protection. We thank him for protecting us from the unseen dangers. We do thank him for jamming guns. We do thank him for preventing fatal accidents. We thank him. We thank the angels. We are forever in debt to your kindness towards us when we don't deserve it. We thank you for your mercy and grace. All of us listening to this show have testimonies about how it could have been the other way, how it could have been tragic, but that gun jammed on purpose because she has a purpose. Hello, and the Lord knew she would fulfill her purpose. Come on, somebody, because when he knows that you're going to do it, watch him do it and get you through it so you can pursue it. Come on, somebody, today. I'm serious about this moving forward. Now, this is the part that really, hits home to me about rough sex. And a lot of men, especially, are into rough sex based on watching it from porn. You think that's just the way to go. You think caveman style is it. You think the Tyrannosaurus Rex position is the way to go. You think that if you come in like Captain Caveman, that this is what desire intimacy is. But truth be told, brother, all of your moves you got from porn. So the question I want to ask is, what moves do you really have? What are your own and what are copied? That's for everybody. I'm going to watch this porn and learn some tips. I got a date tonight. I need to catch up on some porn. No, we're talking about what you don't even know how your body moves, because your body moves based on improv. And not on improv, based on emulation. So when we look at rough sex and we look at the consequences of rough sex and how there are vaginal abrasions and how it can really knock somebody out of whack, that makes me understand where you get the term, I just hit that. So disrespectful. You're going to let me hit that? Excuse me. No. Why? Why would I? What did it do to you? It's not on punishment. Why do you need to hit that? With what? With what? Why are you abusive? I'm just going to hit that. That's abuse. I don't mind. Not down here. Not anywhere. No. She is to be tender love and all day long, like tender kisses. Like, what are you talking about? So this whole generation of, and this is a generation of not even using the right words to even get me aroused. I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna hit that. You can stay home. What is this in you? What is going on? Did you eat a gorilla? Why are you so aggressive? Part baboon, what's up? Why are you so aggressive? What is driving you to want to use your body on me in such an aggressive manner and to take out whatever frustrations you're obviously having on me or any woman or even on yourself? Some of you have sprained your hand masturbating. You didn't get carpal tunnel because you're in construction. And you sure didn't get it because you work in customer service typing. Some of you only use lotion for that. The rest of your body is foggy. But you want to hit that and want to know why women don't want to mess with you and why you have to resort to going to different places for you to ejaculate. Because the porn industry, brother, has taught you the wrong things about being a man and using your penis for good. I don't use no condoms. Why? Because Mr. Marcus doesn't. Did you listen to the last clip? We'll talk about that in a little bit. So here we're looking at the fact that you want to hit that based on this rough sex culture. And listen, rhythm, stroke, pleasure, consistency, being in tune with the partner, all of that is a sequence and it's a download. And it only comes when you are genuinely in love with who you're with and you're faithful. Like I said, a lot of you brag and give high fives about how you beat something down. Once again, violence. I beat that down. Is it in the hospital? Is there an ace bandage around her vagina? What are you talking about? And you haven't done anything. Dang, what you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is you need to give back these gold medals that you gave yourself. That's what I'm saying. Moving forward in the porn industry, You have to get tested every 28 days. And she said, if I test on a Monday and I'm negative, but on Tuesday, but then I go and I have sex and I contract chlamydia on Tuesday, that test may not show up, will show up negative, but I have it and now I'm passing along the industry. And then we're looking at the diseases that are passed along in the industry and are passed along in the entire world: gonorrhea, herpes, HPV, AIDS, chlamydia, syphilis, HPV being the human papilloma virus, which are genital warts. Okay? So all over the world, these diseases exist. And there are some that aren't even mentioned on here. I used to teach STD awareness, and I learned about STDs that are outside of the country, and that there were sporadic cases. Not sporadic, that's not the right word to use. There were small cases of it in the US, but there are tropical STDs. And when I opened up the book that they gave us, I know I didn't eat lunch that day. I probably did. And I know I definitely started to say, I'm going to have to slow my roll, because this right here is not anything that I want to contract or I ever want to run into seeing. And what I discovered with these STDs is that they're here as a lesson. It's punishment. Now, some are saying, well, I caught something and, I didn't even know. He went out and he cheated on me. Abstaining from sex until marriage prevents everything. Celibacy prevents everything. Well, what about if he cheats in the marriage? We're speaking about two people coming together who have done the energy work and the clearing work to get to a point where they are healthy enough for each other to come together to where there is no desire to be adulterous. We're talking about the Most High God is able to do it and to deliver and to make us be who we need to be. Are you willing to do the work? Because we don't do pessimism on this show. We only do optimism. We only believe that we are able to change and transform. And catching an STD, no matter how you catch it, you have it. And what you gonna do now? That's the question. What you gonna do about it? The reality has set in. You have it. And you have to do something about it, because you're not going to sit there and walk around with lava on you. Your vagina is full of lava at this point. What you gonna do? Because the question is, how do you know you didn't have an STD? What you trying to say? What I'm saying is chlamydia is called the silent STD, and it can sit inside you and you can be asymptomatic, meaning every time you go for a check, it doesn't even come up on the swab. And so you're continuing to have unprotected sex, not knowing that you too are a host. That's what I'm saying. We as women especially have to stop thinking that we're so golden that we're perfect. We have got to stop thinking because you're a woman, you're automatically, invincible. No, that's not the case. The case is you can catch it and he can catch it. You can give it and he can give it. Period, point blank. Now the landscapers are joining me for my dang show. Come on, guy with the edgers. What in the world? Ooh. We'll be right back after this commercial break. I'm upset. You might hear the same commercial again. I'm going to go outside and look at him real quick so he'll know that he needs to scatter along. Come on and play. Okay, I think I'm not going to be... Wait a minute now. We'll be right back.
easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcast to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Brothers and sisters, we want you to listen live and on demand to the Sister Speak show. There are 6 segments dedicated to serving you, my brothers and sisters. We have the platform, coming to the stage, the culture climate, the laugh line, the tour, and the search effort. Oh, the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire.
Brotherhood, sisterhood,
Oh,
leadership.
commercial.
Those are the qualities that you were looking for when you were joining, not humiliation. The latest episode of The Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts on this episode. Death before degree, hazing in fraternities and sororities. On The Culture Climate, we're covering what others are afraid to cover in the village, including controversial conversations, taboo subject matters, addressing the inner me's, exposing the enemies, interviews, audio from video clips, international, national, local news affecting the village. Click the link for the latest episode on the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Remember, you don't have to die to belong. Okay, he went away. Welcome back. You're listening to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak show. I'm your host, Sister Speak. Tonight's episode, Pornography Behind the Scenes, the Price of Pleasure, Contracting STDs, and Walking Away from the and leaving the industry. The commercial that you heard after the Amazon Alexa commercial was an old commercial. Discard that, because that is so long ago. Moving forward, let's get back in. We're dealing with contracting STDs inside of porn, and of course outside of porn, and with the whole who gave it to who, whatever, it's been given. What you're going to do about it. And you have to go, you have to get tested, you have to list the people that you've come in. I mean, it really goes into your sexual history once you have contracted an STD. And you're going to have to take medicine in order to treat it. And we hope that you don't contract something that you can't get rid of. Now, let me tell you, you can be delivered and you can be healed. I will never want anybody to walk away from this show thinking once you have something that's it. No, the Most High God is able to definitely heal you from all manner of sickness. It's just on him if he wants to or not. If that's what it's going to be or not. I don't dictate that. Moving forward, when it comes to syphilis, there are stages of syphilis, and it is ultimately a neurological disease. It eats at the brain. And out of all of these diseases that have been listed, none of us want to catch any of them. And when you do, it's a wake-up call. It's a reality, because you would not have caught it if you would not have been doing it. We're talking about orally and vaginally and anally. And what I have a huge problem with is this excitement behind sodomy, this excitement to penetrate the anus when you're not supposed to. You can get mad if you want to. I give 0 fucks. And you should too when it comes to somebody's ass. You cannot tell me that your mouth didn't drop when you heard that the woman, the female who was having sex, she had had so much anal sex that the muscle from her anus fell out. The question on the table is, who else has had their muscle fall out? Now, hold up. Your body's not supposed to be breaking down like that, but it will if you encounter that type of activity. You have to learn that there are certain doors you just don't go in. There are certain freaky pleasures that you have to fight off of your mind in wanting to express. And if your anus muscle falls out of your bottom, it is time to quit doing porn. And it is time to quit having anal sex. It was never a time to start, and it's most definitely a time to quit. The question on the table is, that's not the question, but the declaration on the table is there are other symptoms of sodomy that have occurred. And that is a category in porn. And we know that that's an abomination. I don't give two F's what anybody says. And this is the problem. I'm going to go here. You can't be a part of an organization, any organization, and push your bullshit onto me or other people who don't vibe that way. Well, what would you mean why would you call it bullshit? Because if it don't vibe high, it's bullshit. When a bull shits, the shit doesn't stick up in the air and go up in the air. The shit goes low. It drops to the ground. It's bullshit. And I come from a lineage, a tribe with a king who laid down some rules. And we are actively, those of us who have transformed and transforming, wanting to do better. And if we have engaged in behaviors before, and we are changing, we know that we don't need to engage in these behaviors because they serve no purpose and no good for our soul. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to change and think this way. The problem is the bullies who are set in place to try to stifle your speech when your speech is the truth. And meanwhile, certain organizations are hosting a whole bunch of demonic beings and demonic activity. And then you gang up on people who don't want any parts of it. You gang up on people who were preyed upon, people that are part of certain organizations and are struggling with their sexual identity, struggling with trust issues, and struggling with day-to-day living because they are consumed by the effects of what has happened to them. And you bully people who want to change and who don't subscribe to the behaviors that you don't want to come out of. You cannot do that. You don't super rule. And that's for any organization. You don't super rule. You can't ask people to forsake what they were taught in their home. And I'm talking about in their spiritual life. When you have been given, you can do this, but you can't do that. And when you want to obey, especially if you've lived a life where you have just been doing your own thing, using your free will recklessly, and then you decide to want to change, you are going to adhere to the rules. You are going to say, nah, I can't really do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to participate. That's not right. And the moment you say that's not right, the people who are doing wrong want to gang up on you. Because you're saying the wrong isn't right and it's the truth, because you wouldn't be so aggressive about it if it weren't. In that manner, to where you glorify the wrong and then you ostracize the right. No, you don't super rule. You don't have dominion like that. So if these behaviors are leading to your anus muscle falling out, then what the hell is going on? What is up? That is tragic. The will to be defiled. The will to be subjected to the gutter. Haven't we been subjected to enough? Haven't we gone through enough? How much more punishment will we self-inflict and call it pleasure and call it desire and call it boy pussy? Rated R for strong language, content, and thought. That is your rectum. Men don't have that. That's the problem I'm having. These terms that permeate the atmosphere. And we are misidentifying our own body parts. If you balance the energy and you do the work, you'll have no desire for those things. That's just real life. Get mad if you want to. If you get mad, it's because you don't want to come out. It's because you want to stay in. But we have been preyed upon when it comes to this incubus and succubus demon. And in the porn industry, gonorrhea, herpes, HIV, AIDS, chlamydia, syphilis is rampant. And not only that, it's rampant in our community. What are we going to do about it? But you get mad when you talk about it because you still want to have sex. And you don't want to walk away from sex because of the fear of celibacy, the fear of changing. Because if you actually walk away from it, other things will change in your life. It's just the truth. We have to be delivered from some things, no matter what they are. You don't have to go to the lake of hell, Gehenna, Sheol, and Hades. You can redirect yourself. It's at the point now of, do you want to? And there are people who have said in our village, I'm walking away from the porn industry. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to keep on being assaulted. I'm not going to keep catching STDs. I'm not going to keep putting this out for my people to continue to stumble and fall. I'm not going to keep operating and working for succubus, incubus. I'm not going to let them keep pimping me. There is a deliverance for some out of the industry, and we applaud them. But you need to understand behind the scenes of what you jack off to, or what you have sex to, or what you think that you need to go and then reenact in your home and film. I'm just telling you, there is a pain behind the pleasure, and there's a price with that as well. Vaginal, the vagina's so loose that they have to reconstruct it and bolt it in so it won't be ugly on camera. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You have to stop. Gotta stop. If this is, if you can relate to this, if this is what your vagina is going through right now, you gotta stop. You have to stop. Because if your vagina is that wide, you don't even have to leave the house for a pap smear. The doctor can see it from his office window. You have to stop. You need to heal. That's punishment. That is brutality. Your vagina has been brutalized. In and out, different men, different sizes, all that rough sex. And at the beginning of the day, what do you benefit from it? And we watch this and we have no idea, some of us, the behind the scenes. And there's a spirit of apathy. There's some people that don't care. But for those who do, you can agree that it's time to stop. How can you enter into your own personal relationship with somebody? Because if they have sex with you, they will disappear. They will never feel like their penis is of an adequate size because you're so wide. you would have to continue to be stuffed with various objects in order to feel any type of pleasure, because when your vagina is tight and right, it's going to grip. It's going to lubricate. It's going to secrete. It's going to be pleasurable. The man will feel your vaginal walls. He will feel the clitoris on his penis, rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts, and be pleasured. And it's a tightness and a rightness. It's a security. It's a beautiful feeling when a man can make love to his woman and vice versa, and nothing feel off about the feeling. That every time you penetrate your woman, your wife, that this is yours, right? This is yours. You can tell nobody else has been in it. It feels great. And she's not trying to, do any sorcery, because she's faithful too. So you don't have to worry about her trying to, go get this done or do that in order to make it feel like it's snug when it's really not. That's the bonus. That's the benefit. That's the reward of being faithful and monogamous. But many will never reach that reward. Because instead, being loose as a goose is the trend for some. And some of you are having so much sex and you don't want I can't even call them significant, because if they were significant, you wouldn't be having sex outside of the relationship. Your insignificant other has no idea. And you're all over the place with it. Because the porn industry is teaching you that this is how you're supposed to operate. But your spouse, your insignificant other, is left out in the cold. Anus loose, vagina loose. At what cost? Some people even have to put a tampon in their anus to keep the shit from falling out. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. And if you don't want to stop, it's because you don't want to deal with what happened to you. Mr. Marcus, every black man's hero. I'm just playing. No, stop. Mr. Marcus, who many men like to model themselves after. And for real, for some, he is their hero. Contracted syphilis, faked his test, and went and worked with 2 women, knowing he was positive for syphilis. And that was that phone call you heard, that answering machine message that you heard in the clip. That was him apologizing for being reckless and that he knew better. And being honored and entered into the Adult Entertainment Industry Hall of Fame, at what cost? Syphilis, right? That means that the encounter that he had he took it to the industry and it spread. And it spreads. All of these diseases spread through the industry. And that's how it continues to spread in the rest of the world. But Mr. Marcus hit rock bottom. And he altered his test, and the women could tell that it was fake. And when I watch his interview, I see the pain in his eyes. I see the pain in all of their eyes. There's a hollowness because you're drained. Working for incubus and succubus is a lot. It takes a lot out of you. And the last clip, bleeding penis. And she contracted HIV from a man on set who had a bleeding penis. They offered him a condom and he said no. And I said to myself, what would make someone have sex if their penis is bleeding? Then I said, well, women have sex on their period. Which is dangerous. And to enter into the industry and to have to test every 28 days and you're thinking you're good and next thing you know, you've contracted HIV. Is it worth it? What price of pleasure are you willing to pay for it? What is the price of pain that you're willing to pay for? And at the beginning of the day, a bleeding penis should stop anybody, including the person who owns the penis. So I say to the village, what's up with your genitalia right now? I'm not in your business. I'm not your gynecologist. I'm not your prostate examiner. I'm not any of that. I'm just keeping it 100. What's up with your genitalia right now? If it's bleeding, dripping, oozing, discharging, you need to go to the doctor immediately. And I have to say this because it's important. You know, oral sex is something that brings pleasure, right? But if we can just be real, at what cost? I'm beginning to think, and I know a lot of men are going to be like, shit. And a lot of women, because you receive pleasure from it. I'm beginning to think we're not supposed to do it. I'm beginning to think we're really not supposed to put our mouth on a penis or a vagina. And because of just all what comes out of it and just these dangers that I'm looking at, the herpes and the syphilis and the gonorrhea, can you imagine if you're performing oral sex on somebody in a porn and they have gonorrhea and you don't know, and now you have gonorrhea in your throat, and that's just with anybody, you know, like, trust and believe. I know all about oral sex, okay? But in the participation of it, in hindsight and even in foresight, damn, what was I thinking? Because I don't know about you, but just listening to this and just hearing this at the age I am now, it's like, dang, Lord, thank you for your mercy and your grace. And then for the people who have diseases and you don't say anything, what the fuck is going on? I mean, seriously. You have herpes and you're not telling anybody and you're a warpath to destroy. You know, like literally I'm really thinking there must be some type of therapy attached with the diagnosis of having an STD that should be provided right then and there after receiving the diagnosis from the doctor. Don't just consult me about condoms and birth control and the dosages I need to take and the possible side effects. Also tell me about the mental health, my mental health, and how it's going to be affected by me catching this STD. I'm going to need some tips and some pointers so I don't go out here and try to kill everybody with my penis because I'm mad. And also within the tragedy is not knowing who you could have possibly contracted it from because you're so promiscuous and you're loose and you're wild with your body. You got to bring your body back on in. I understand, seeing a man and seeing a woman and seeing a good-looking man and a good-looking woman, being attracted to somebody's shape, being turned on. I understand these things, the useless points, but at the beginning of the day, how well do we know who we're sleeping with? And do we understand that in the porn industry, the roughness and the levels of affliction that are running rampant in this industry, and how our people's souls are being drained by these demons, and that our young children believe that this is how sex is supposed to be, because our village does not teach sex education. We just go out and fuck. I don't want my child knowing about no condoms and nothing. And meanwhile, you have about 5 different men coming in your house throughout the week. They know about something. What are we teaching our children about sex education? Or can we not teach our children because we have none? Just don't go out there and catch nothing. Great, Dad. Thank you. You're my hero. I can always count on you. You're always the one for me. Yeah, let's go play softball. Like, seriously, don't play with me. Teach me about what I need to know. And if you don't know, find out, because you're supposed to train me and you're supposed to teach me. I'm counting on you. Just don't tell me, don't go out there and catch nothing. Don't go out there and get pregnant. Or if I catch you having sex, I'm going to beat your ass. Or if I catch you doing A, B, C, and D, I'm going to kill you. Or if you come home with it. No, F that. Teach me. And don't teach me aggressively, but teach me with passion and firmness. Teach me with an understanding that you have gained. Teach me with righteousness so I won't get out here and make this generation continue to be cursed because I'm out here just having sex, spilling my seed, giving my energy to various entities and principalities, and I got my mind all fucked up. Now I can't concentrate in school. Now I'm out here having sex with men that are older than me, and I'm caught up in a cycle because the only thing you told me was don't get pregnant. Don't catch nothing. Like what, Dad? A ball, a basketball? What? Don't catch nothing. A bird, a fish? What? Don't catch what? Just don't end up like your uncle. Well, what the fuck? What happened to him? He can't see. He got syphilis. How? Stay away from prostitutes. Why? They fill in the details. Give me an essay. Give me a book report on why I need to vibrate high, because otherwise all of these ingredients that are suggesting that I go out here and do these things, they're hunting me, and I don't have the wherewithal or the willpower to fight them off. I need you to teach me so I can learn, so I don't end up burned and end up in an urn. Because all I cared about was an ass that was firm. Seriously, today and any other day. What are we telling our children? It's more than saying, I don't care what my child is. I'm going to love him regardless. You are a disaster in your home. You need to have boundaries, and you need to teach your child, and you need to help your child. And if your child is acting out in an energy that is off of their nature, then you need to find out what happened to your child, or what is in the environment that is suggesting your child to be this way sexually in whatever way that it is. Because we don't want your child to be on a porn. We don't want your child to end up being sexually assaulted, gangbanged, ejaculated on. We don't want that. We don't want them to end up being drug addicted because the demons are just praying at them day and night and they can't cope. So now they're in the realm of escaping and they're using drugs in order just to go and perform on set or on the stroll or whatever they're doing. We want to bring and preserve the dignity, integrity, and the wholeness and the purity of our people, of our children. We have got to do that. And when we don't, especially if we're out here twerking and you've got your son in the video or your daughter in the video and your stank ass in the video twerking, what are you teaching your child? Oh, you're a part of the don't tell me how to fuck to raise my child crew, right? But in the village, we do that. And what you gonna do about it? The lie will never outweigh the sword of truth. It will never dominate. So at the beginning of the day, are we over-sexualizing our children and exposing them to bullshit that can lead them to the porn industry to where a gun could possibly actually go off on them and not jam? That they die on set after a gangbang. These are real life stories that happen that don't make it to the news, but float around the industry. And when you're an investigative journalist, you do your due diligence and you're able to bring these stories to the forefront to raise awareness that succubus and incubus are pimping our people at an all-time high. And our people are suffering from afflictions of the genitalia. And it is taking us out both spiritually and physically. And the industry does not give zero fucks about you and only uses you to project what the demon wants to get out and permeate in the atmosphere, which is destruction of the marriage, of intimacy, of the idea of man and woman coming together. We perish for lack of knowledge. Here he comes again with the edger. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. You've been a wonderful listening audience. I really appreciate you guys. I sure enough do. Oh, goodness. Mobile magazine gracing the cover is the beautiful Sai Assad. Next, head on over to Booked and Busy and book your next nail appointment with Ashley, the CEO of Adhesive Treats. In Exposing Narcissism, we're going to give you some tips on how to protect your marriage from toxic in-laws. In Each One Teach One, we're giving you 5 tips on how to have a successful classroom party. We're traveling with Phyllis Mitchell and Rajan Duncan in the Passport Passion. In the hair appointment, we're going to discuss the Big Chop. On the tour, where we cover every aspect of the music industry, we're highlighting Boss Chica. And on the bookshelf, we're highlighting S. Rose. The Sister Girls Manifesto available for purchase now. Speak Sister Speak mobile magazine for all shades of brown people. Yes, it's time to magazine and chill. Brought to you by the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Sis, I saw this super fly top online at kklachey.com. It's perfect for your date. I'm excited to see it. I need something that will complete my outfit. One thing's for certain and 2 things are for sure. When you shop at kklachey.com, you're going to find what you're looking for and more. These sexy tops are on sale for $28. Your outfit is going to be lit. When they ask you where you got it from, make sure you tell them it's kklachey.com. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is Sister Speak with the word of encouragement. No matter what the enemy or enemies try to do to you, God will cause their plans to take no effect, and the pit that they dig for you, they shall fall in. If God be for you, who can be against you? Now say it with me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Be encouraged. The season of you being prey has come to an end. Family, friend, foe versus your freedom. What are you going to choose? The latest episode of the Vent Session on the Sister Speak Show is available on demand now. Episode 2, Stop Being Weak. We're covering haters in your life. Why are they howling at you? Car chases. Let me out the car. This doesn't taste good. Where's the original recipe? Protecting adulterers. Why are your people scandalous? Rent, utility, and food relief. Learning how to ask for help and people who don't help. The Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. Warriors, mount up and be encouraged. Welcome back. You are listening to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show. I'm your host, Sister Speak, recording from DFW. I thank you all for being a patient listening audience. I thank you for holding on tight. I'm not playing. I'm not playing about anything that is coming out today. I am a vessel. If you don't like it, so what? I'm a light worker. This is an assignment, okay? And you cannot get at me or this guy who is passing by right now for delivering the mail. We just got to do our job, and we just going to pass on through. But I'm going to say what I have to say. So when it comes to us being able to get to the point to where we can recognize that the devil does not give a damn about us, we will understand that the effects of the porn industry are perilous. No, they're not perilous. They're detrimental to our entire existence, okay? And it's seedy. And there's nothing wrong with wanting our village not to be filled with the gutter, okay? Not to be filled with sewage, not to sit here and be attacked by sharks. And so anybody who enters into the industry from our village, the most that we can do is at least bring awareness and say, come on out, sis. Come on out, brother. Because right now where you are, your soul is on fire. And we're not helping. We all are a part of it when we watch it. When we get a nut off of it. When you ejaculate, any of that. If you're using porn to get to that level, you are participating in all of the fuckery that goes on in front of the scenes and behind the scenes. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Because it's deeper than just you ejaculating. We're scuba diving. We're talking about this is killing our souls. And if it weren't, why are people seeking healing and deliverance from being addicted to porn? Because people are addicted to porn, whether they watch it or participate in it. And they realize at some point, based on some type of epiphany, that this is not the route. And so they want to get to the land of uprightness, and they realize that they're going to have to do a 180 in order to get to where they want to go. So you can't say that this does not have its hooks in people, because people are seeking ways to get the hooks taken out of them. So anything that has hooks is sharp, and its desire is to keep you on there. Because anybody who has fished understands that a hook keeps the fish on there. So the whole point of the porn industry is to keep you on the hook. And when a hook goes through you, it pierces you and you bleed. And you have to get treatment for any type of wound that occurs from a hook in the physical. So how much more impact and how much more deep are the wounds of spiritual hooks? Because there are categories that are so foul in porn. And the behaviors in porn, these are spirits, these are principalities, these are demons possessing people. And these are the same that were found in the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, which is why Sodom and Gomorrah was burned to the ground. No vegetation grows in Sodom and Gomorrah to this day. Look it up online, look on YouTube, and you will see. So I'm saying to yourself, are you a resident of Sodom and Gomorrah today? What is your sexual life right now? And how is porn affecting your sex life? You're using toys? There's no toy that could ever substitute the real feeling of a penis. This is the truth. No toy. No toy. No toy. I don't care how many batteries it takes. I don't care what it can do. I don't care what it cannot do. I'm telling you, nothing will ever replace the feeling of a man. A real man. From head to toe. From soul. And the same for a woman. You can buy as many fake vaginas as you want to, brother. You can buy as many blow-up dolls as you want to, brother. At the beginning of the day, nothing will ever replace the feeling of a woman, a real woman, and a real vagina. Nothing. I just had it because, it's just my convenience. And I was just, how did you know I had one? I didn't. You told on yourself. I just know people order them. You can buy as many fake bottoms and penetrate the anus in that bottom all you want to. At the beginning of the day, you're not even supposed to be doing that at all. So there are replicas made for you to continue to go down into the fuckery, to continue to go down deeper into your sexual desires. And they're going to get worse and worse and worse because the convenience is inappropriate. You can have all the sex that you want with your wife. That's a healthy, wonderful convenience. Or with your husband. It's the inconveniences that are provided. It's not convenience, that's inconvenient. Because at the beginning of the day, here you are, you got to rev yourself up to do what you got to do with this object. And these things are replicated on porn. Porn teaches you how to use your body recklessly. It does not teach you how to do what you need to do. Trust me, when you get with a man that you love or a woman that you love, your body will present and perform in ways that you never thought it could, because this is who you're supposed to be with. This is genuine intimacy, and the Lord is allowing it to happen that way because he consents. He okays it. He's okay with this right here. But our people are losing everything spiritually in this industry, and they are walking away from it. They're walking away from it because the industry has kicked their ass with no apologies, because the industry has taken them down a path that they never thought that they would go down. Because they were looking for love in all the wrong places, because a friend suggested it, because of the money, whatever it is at the beginning of the day. And then you have some people say, well, you might as well get paid to do it. Ain't no point in fucking for free. You demon witches. We rebuke that. It's the suggestions in the village. It's time to clean up the village. Period, point blank. It's time to clean up the village. It's time for us to say, Lord, deliver me from watching porn, being in porn, making my own sex tapes, thinking I'm Kim Kardashian, okay? Thinking that I'm getting to the bag, thinking that I'm living my best life. No, you're not, because you didn't get all of that out of your hair. Ooh, yeah, you didn't get all of that out of your hair. That's not glue on your lace front. That's skeet. Ooh. Yeah, that industry is rough. Dang, Sister Speak, did you go there? Yes, I did. Put your penis up, put your vagina up, and get to healing. So the next time that your penis and vagina makes its debut, it's in the right environment with the right person. There's nothing wrong with me telling you that. I'm just keeping it real with my people. I really care. And I don't want our people to be abused. I don't want our people to vibrate low. I don't want our people to be used to project the demons' fantasies. I don't want our people to be used to destroy our village. I want our people to be educated about sex and use sex righteously and not as a weapon. I want us not to let money be the love of money be the root of all evil in our lives. And let money be the deciding factor on whether or not you're going to allow somebody to defile you. I want you to get the healing that you need so you don't have to seek lust thinking that it's love. I want us to understand the difference between lust and love. And a lot of us are not in love. We're in lust. I want us to refrain from touching ourselves. I want us to refrain from wasting our orgasms, our climaxes, our semen, our secretion on ourselves and save it for the one who we're supposed to be engaging in pleasure with righteously. If you keep having sex when it comes time for you to be in the one that you're supposed to be with, it's not going to be the way you think it's going to be. Too much sex outside of the marriage, there's not going to be a lot inside of the marriage. That's just how it goes. That's just the punishment. You got to really work towards saving and refraining so you can really enjoy what it means to come together as one and not be so spent out, burnt out, and skeeted out that when it comes time for you to want to get married or be in a faithful relationship, you have nothing to give because you are on E. Now you trying to figure out how you can bring the spice back in your life because everything is bland. That's because you all are drained sexually. Well, let's bring some porn into the situation. Maybe we can get it crunk like that. At the beginning of the day, Mr. Marcus has spoken. These ladies have spoken about the porn industry. And it's the truth. Behind the scenes, there's a price to pay for pleasure, and you pay for pleasure with pain. Incubus, succubus are gangsters. STDs and the effects that it has on so many people. It's on you if you're going to keep watching or not. I've done my part. It's on you if you're going to keep being a porn star. I've done my part. It's on you if you're going to keep going raw. I've done my part. It's on you if you don't want to be celibate. I've done my part. My part was to talk about what I had to say this evening. I thank you all for being a wonderful listening audience. Tonight's episode, Pornography, Behind the Scenes, The Price of Pleasure, Contracting STDs, and Leaving the Industry. You've been a wonderful listening audience. I really appreciate you. Until we speak next time. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Blessed be the name of the Most High God and his Son, Yeshua. I'm divinely protected, and so is my listening audience. We return to sender all black magic, all voodoo, all witchcraft. We reverse it. Any ill intentions, evil eye, karma, meant to come this way. It is reversed, and it has adverse effect to you immediately. Be encouraged.